Now, one of the common things that I hear a lot throughout every semester is, Kyle, how do I do better on homeworks? How do I do better on exams? I always feel like I can't answer certain questions, or on exams I run out of time. And a lot of that comes down to being prepared. Now, in our very first video about the syllabus, one of the things that we highlighted is that this class does take time. It's recommended, again, that you spend about 10 hours outside of watching lecture videos just practicing concepts throughout the week. So it's about 2 hours a day. That's a lot of time. I very much understand that you might not always have that time to devote. But if you want to be able to do very well in the class, this is partially what it's going to require. Because in order to learn the concepts, you have to be able to practice them. And so one of the best ways to make sure that you can make use of that time, or to at least have that time available, is to plan ahead. And there's two different ways to plan ahead here that are going to be important. First off, I'll recommend again that you try to sit down and come up with a strategy, a plan, for when you are going to work on calculus. Are you going to work on it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? I think that's a good idea, but when are you going to do it? Is it going to be at 9 a.m.? Is it going to be at 3 in the afternoon? And for how long? Make it consistent. Make it something that you can actually feasibly do. Because if you have it at a consistent time, if 3 o'clock hits and you know it's calculus time, you're over time going to be more incentivized to keep doing that. You're going to build that habit, and that's a good thing. And once that habit is kind of established, you'll be able to find that you're actually then going to be able to spend more time focusing on other aspects of the course as well, like practicing with the worksheets. So being able to set up a scheduled time and then stick to it are the first two important things. The next thing is going to be using those practice worksheets throughout the week. You don't want to just say, all right, I'm going to watch all the videos for 1 week, and then on Friday afternoon, I'll do some practice. Oh, that's going to be a really rough strategy for you. You don't want to do that. Practice a little bit every day, even if it's just 20 minutes, 30 minutes, right? Try to schedule out some sort of time, so that way at least you can test yourself on, like, how well am I getting this? You can plan ahead. There's nothing worse than getting to a Friday and then feeling like, shoot, I don't remember half the stuff from the week, and now I feel really behind because the new content's coming on the next week. So staying on pace, having a schedule, practicing with those worksheets is going to be super, super important. Now, I touched on in the last video when we talked about exams that there was an Exam 1 study guide. And this is going to be something that a lot of people tend to overlook when it comes to preparing for exams. But again, this is a checklist of all the things that you need to be able to know how to do competently when it comes to the test. And if you know how to do every single one of the things listed here, there's nothing I could possibly ask you that should be a surprise when it comes to the test. You might remember in the homework assignments, I said that there were going to be kind of 3 different tiers of difficulty. Fundamental questions being the easier, questions require deeper understanding being like the harder questions, and then extra credits being like the really hard questions. When it comes to exams, most exam questions are in the fundamental category because it's really timed. Like you don't have a full week to do it. You have 70 minutes. So I can't ask really hard questions, nor do I really want to. I just want to know, do you understand the concepts that we've talked about? So in order to make sure that you know how to do those concepts and know how to do them within a 70-minute time limit, there are a couple of things that you can do. First off, I would recommend that you use this list, again, as a checklist so you can go through each individual topic and make sure that you're well prepared. So let's say here, I need to be able to state and correctly use the squeeze theorem to evaluate limits. This is something we're going to talk about in section 2.3.1. Well, how do you see if you're actually good at that? Well, you could easily go back to questions where you know that you need to use this squeeze theorem, whatever that is, and you should be able to see when it comes time to studying for the test, can I do this question? Can I do it without looking at my notes, without looking at a solution, without any outside help? If it was just the question, me, and something to write with, can I answer this question? If the answer is yes, then you're probably prepared for the test. But if you need to go back and consult your notes or just peek at the solution just a little bit, even just to get started, you're not ready for test day because you weren't able to answer that question like it was a test environment. And so it's going to be super, super, super important that you try to go ahead and continually rehearse on questions over and over and over again that you can't seem to maybe do without getting kind of that extra little nudge towards the right solution. That's why studying takes time. It's not a good idea to save all of your studying until the last minute. If an exam was over here on Friday, start making a plan to study about the week before. What are you going to do every day throughout that week? There's usually going to be a couple days where we're going to have some buffers in there where you can try to go ahead and kind of use some time here to not learn any new material related to the exam, but actually spend those days kind of really diving into your practice. But you want to use the weekend before, you want to use the few days leading up to make sure that you've really rehearsed these concepts as well as possible. It's easy to perform well on something that's well rehearsed. If you think about it, most things in life operate this way. If you were asked to, go in front of a giant audience of people and perform a task like tie your shoes, it wouldn't be that terrifying. It'd be a little terrifying. You're still in front of people, just like every exam's a little terrifying. But if you're really well practiced at it, you're still going to be okay. What you don't want is to show up on an exam and read a question and then go, oh yeah, squeeze theorem, what was that again? Oh, well then that question's pretty much already wrong, right? It's going to be really hard to answer that. You want to spend your time on the exam answering the questions, not trying to remember what a particular topic is all about. Exams are the time to show that you understand the content, and you can do that again by making a schedule, staying on pace, and continuing to practice throughout the week. Of course, I'm always here to help, so let me know if there's any questions that you might have as you're working through content.